Hello everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today is Wacky Wednesday, so you know I have another fun recipe planned for us. Today we're going to be making a confetti cheesecake, and I'm really excited because it looks like confetti because we're going to make it using Fruity Pebbles. But first, if you are new here, my name is Cheri. If you love food and fun like I do, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell and check the description below. You'll find details on how subscribing helps to feed the hungry. So 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, my husband asked me to make him a peanut butter cheesecake, which I had never done because I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. If I'm going to eat peanut butter, I want it on a sandwich with like molasses or honey, served alongside a piping hot bowl of chili and an ice cold glass of milk. So a lot of people think I'm very weird for that, but that's the way they served it when I went to school. If we had chili, we had a peanut butter sandwich. And I think that they either use molasses or sorghum, whatever the government probably gives them. And they mixed it in with the peanut butter instead of using jelly. And again, they served it with chili and, did I just say chili twice? They served it with chili and milk. And so that's just the way I love to eat it. Other than that, like, I'm just not a big peanut butter fan. My husband is a huge peanut butter fan. Now, if you have peanut butter cookies and that's all you have, I might take one. But when it comes to cookies, I'm not going to be too picky. But my cheesecake, I have never put peanut butter in a cheesecake. So I put peanut butter in the cheesecake. He loved it. And I used a recipe that I use quite a bit if I want to do a no-bake cheesecake. It's basically just cream cheese and powdered sugar mixed together, and then you make some homemade whipped cream and you mix some powdered sugar in that. You blend the two of those together and put it in a crust, and that's pretty much it. In a couple hours, you have a cheesecake, and it's no-bake. It's really, really simple. It's really rich is what I would say, but it's really good too. So I just kind of adapted that recipe. I just added some peanut butter to it, but I thought for the crust, what can I use for the crust? And I thought what goes good with peanut butter is pretzels. So I did like a half and half. I did half pretzels, and the other half of the crust was made with Nutter Butter, peanut butter cookies. So anytime I make a cheesecake, I like to try to match the crust to whatever my filling's going to be. So if I'm doing like a lemon flavored cheesecake, I will use like lemon flavored cookies versus just regular graham crackers. So I mixed up half peanut butter cookies and then half pretzels, mixed that all together, made a crust out of it. So that just got me to thinking, like, what else can I use for a crust for cheesecake? And I thought cereal. And I went through like all the cereals I could find, and then I found the Fruity Pebbles, and I was like, how fun is that? This is like edible confetti, right? So I'm calling this confetti cheesecake. Anyway, I'm going to get started with, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Now, if you want to make a full-size cheesecake, you're going to want to double this recipe, but this is going to be really sweet. I'm afraid, really, really sweet. And my husband is not a marshmallow fan. I think he likes Fruity Pebbles, but just only out of the bowl like cereal. So I don't know that he'll eat it. So what I'm going to do is make 2 little cheesecakes. So I got 2 tablespoons of butter in here, and then I'm going to add in a half of container of, what do you call it stuff? Marshmallow fluff, marshmallow cream. And I'm going to use this versus making my own where you melt down the marshmallows and add the butter to it, because it seems when I do it that way and you make Rice Krispie treats, when you cut into them and you pull them apart, they're really kind of stringy. The Rice Krispie treat kind of falls apart. And I find with doing it this way, using the marshmallow cream and the marshmallow fluff, it doesn't really do that. I get a nice clean cut when I cut it with a knife. So this is going to go in the microwave for just a couple of seconds. And then while we have that in there, we can go ahead and start on our whipped cream mixture. So 1 cup of heavy whipping cream into our mixer, and then just about 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. So I have half a cup in here. Half of it's going to go into the whipped cream mixture, half of it's going to go in the cream cheese mixture, and it doesn't have to be exact because it all gets mixed together at the end. All right. Do a few more seconds on that. And we can go ahead and start to mix this. And I have learned, after many times of making a mess on camera, to cover this up. I think that looks good. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for just a second. We're going to grab our marshmallow again. Make sure all our butter is melted. That looks good. So I'm just going to stir this together. Make sure that our butter gets really incorporated into our marshmallows there. So 2 tablespoons of butter and a half a jar of marshmallow cream. And then I'm going to add in 2.5 cups of our Fruity Pebbles. So we just want to stir this until it's nice and combined. So it should just look like any other, Rice Krispie mixture that you make. Aren't all those colors so pretty? It makes me want to do crafts out of it, like make sun catchers or something. Speaking of which, if you missed Monday's video, I did I think 19 different things you can make out of leftover candy canes. So I'll post that at the end. Actually, I'll just post it right. Which side is it? This side, this side. I'll post it on one of these sides. So you guys can check that out. A lot of different things we made though. We did a cupcake stand. That was my favorite, I think. All right, so once we've got all of this mixed together, then we're just gonna go ahead and press this down into, I'm gonna divide this up for the most part evenly. And you might have a little bit left over, it looks like, but you know, you can always just press that into a little Rice Krispie treat for a snack for later. So what we want to do is, I'm going to use the bottom of this. I've got my cream cheese in here, but that's okay. Just to kind of press it down. And as I press down, it's kind of going to go up the sides, which is great. I think that it'll make it really pretty when we cut into this, especially when I go to photograph it. And I'm just going to keep pressing down. And it's kind of wanting to stick to my fingers, so I normally will wet my fingers, but this is kind of, like usually when I go to make Rice Krispie treats and it wants to stick, some people say to put, you know, butter, but I find if you just kind of wet your hands a little bit and press down, that works really well too. But I do have some of these right here, like little parchment sheets that I use for separating burger patties, that sort of thing. I think I'm going to see if I can use this to press it down, and yeah, that works pretty well. So we're just going to press all, well, if I can get it to stay up there, we'll see. This might be trial and error. And you may have to go around the sides a couple of times just to get it perfect. And then once I've got it pressed down pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and add some more just on these edges here. And this is totally optional. You could probably even cut this part, the amount, in half if you were going to do this, and just put it along the bottom. But I think it'll be really pretty on the edges. All right, I think that is just about good. And I did almost use all of it, and that is because as I was pressing down, I think I was crushing them and squishing out all the air that's in the Rice Krispies. So I had to keep adding a little bit more. And it took a lot longer than I thought to get all this pressed down around the sides. So again, that's just optional. If you don't want to do the sides, you don't have to. You can just do the bottom. I just think especially for a photograph, it'll be really pretty that way. And I may have ate just a little bit of this. So he's doing that. Okay, so time to finish up with our filling. Let's set this aside. I got a little bit of mess here. So what I've got here is my whipped cream that I already made. I'm going to take my whip off and take my bowl. Ooh, almost cracked it. So I've got an extra little bowl here that I'm just going to take the whipped cream and we're going to transfer this in here. So basically what we want to do is we want to make the whipped cream separate from our cream cheese filling, and then we will fold them all together, and that will help keep our whipped cream a little bit fluffier than if we were just to add everything into the bowl at once. So because everything is getting mixed together, I'm going to use the same bowl. I'm not going to bother to wash it. Slide it back on, and I've got 4 ounces of cream cheese, and then we're going to add in the other 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and I'm also going to add in the rest of the marshmallow cream, just because I don't have any other use for it, and I've never put marshmallow cream in a cheesecake. I don't think I have anyway. Made quite a few different cheesecakes, but I don't ever remember putting this in here, so we'll see. I'm not sure what the texture will do, but hopefully it'll still set up. Okay, so that's just about it. Boy, this stuff is sticky. And we're going to put the paddle attachment on. Oops. There we go. Is that right? There we go. All right. And so while I whip this together, I'm going to go ahead and get some of my mess cleaned up here. So we'll put this back on here. Okay, that should be good. One thing I forgot to add, whoops, is a little bit of vanilla. And then, what did I do with it? There we go. A little bit of vanilla, so maybe half a teaspoon or so. And just about any time I add vanilla to something, I add almond as well. So a little bit of almond extract. Of course, this is totally optional, but just about a half a teaspoon of that as well. Okay, so I'm going to mix this. Whoa! I always forget when it's backwards, when I'm standing behind it instead of in front of it. The lock is on this side. All right, that's probably good. We'll finish mixing it with our little spatula here. Good enough. Take my bowl off. And just grab my spatula. So I'm just going to scrape the sides down real quick. Make sure that the cream cheese isn't stuck to the bottom or anything. And then once we've got that done, I'm going to take this and mix it into our whipped cream mixture. Oh, that smells heavenly. It smells like cream cheese frosting. Okay, so now I just want to fold the two of these together. I really don't want to lose all the air that's in my whipped cream, so we just want to be really gentle. We want to try to keep it nice and fluffy. All right, and then once we have both of those incorporated, we can go ahead and fill our pans. Hopefully I calculated correctly. We should have just enough for these. But I don't know, this is the first time I've made this, so. Aw, got it outside of the, I think I did well. Could have used maybe a little more, I don't know. Oh, that was right to the top. And same thing on this one. Just gonna smooth it out a little bit. There we go. Get off the edge there. And then that is it. So I'm gonna transfer these to the fridge. Probably like 4 or 6 hours will be good. If you want to set them up quicker, you can actually go ahead and put it in the deep freezer for an hour or two, and that should work as well. In my experience, this type of cheesecake never really freezes, so it's actually really good if you leave it in the freezer. I think it tastes good that way. All right, so I'll leave these in there for about 4 to 6 hours. All right, who is ready to see how these little cheesecakes turned out? You know what? We should probably run a knife around here just to be on the safe side. You know, a lot of times when you go to cut a Rice Krispie treat and take it out of the pan, it doesn't stick too bad because of all the butter that's in it. But just to be on the safe side. And you know what? I'll save that one for later. I'm probably going to photograph that one. So let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Good. Perfect. A little bit's coming apart there. But I think that's okay. Look, how cute. Let's see if we can get it off the bottom here. Maybe I can just pry it just a little bit. So when I go to cut it, it comes off of here easy. And normally I would line the bottom of my pan with some parchment paper, but these were so little. But maybe I should have. I think that's probably pretty good. All right, so look how little this is. If we were to slice this like a regular, maybe I didn't leave it in long enough. It's a little soft still, but I bet it's still really good. Let's just cut it in half. Let's do that. Get half of it over here onto my plate. I don't think I'll eat the whole half of it though. Yeah, I probably could have left it in there a little bit longer. I still think it's really pretty though. At least it's pretty from the outside. So I'm glad that I did the edges, especially for the photograph. But let's give this a try. Let's see how it is still a little bit. So maybe closer to 6 hours. Or I would just, I would do it overnight to be on the safe side. Well, let's give this little piece a try. It is very, very sweet. But it is very, very good. I mean, like if you need a sugar fix, this will do it. It's really, really sweet. And I think it's because of the marshmallow cream that's in there. So I like the texture of the crust though. Next time I do it, instead of doing a half a cup of powdered sugar and splitting it up, I think I would just take a 1/4 cup and maybe split it up. You may not even need the powdered sugar because of the marshmallow cream. It's really good though. It's really good. I like it. So you guys have to let me know what you think. You think it tastes good? What other cereals would you guys put in a cheesecake if you're going to use it for a crust? You got to let me know. So I thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again on Saturday. Bye.